You're welcome. You're welcome. Good evening, good afternoon, and morning from anywhere you're joining from. So I'm just gonna give some minutes for others to join in, and we can fly. So you're welcome. You're welcome. How you doing today? We're about to have a great time. With some of the things that we are going to be discussing. And in case you don't know what session this is Navigate. This is Navigate. And the goal of this, what we're going to be discussing about, is to really address certain things, especially um, for people in their early 20s, heading to the early 20s or already in their 20s, right? And certain things, certain important things that are needed to, that attention needs to be given to as you grow, as you develop, certain things that are very, very important for you to take note of. It's going to be for 2 days. It's going to be today, Saturday, and also we're going to have the second session tomorrow by 7 p.m. WAT. So get your mind ready. We're about to, have a great time. Okay, so um, you are welcome. You're welcome. Just some moments, and we'll dive right in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I believe you've had a great day so far, you know, and it's been I believe it's been a great weekend for you also. All right, so you're welcome. Um, just I wanted to type in the comment section, tell me your name and where you're joining from. Yeah, I can see quite a number of persons joining in now. So I want you to, just type your name and tell me where you're joining from, your name and where you're joining from. Very quickly. Yeah, I see some greetings. Just tell me your name, where you're joining in from. Let's take this. I just want to be able to, greet a number of persons, and we will dive right in. And by the way, also confirm, let me know that you can hear me. Let me know that you can hear me. Come on. All right, let me know that you can hear me. So as you join in, tell me your name and where you're joining in from. Tell me where you're joining in from and your name. Come on, go ahead right now. It's about to be a great time. It's about to be a great time. All right. Come on, go ahead. Type. Yeah, tell me, just mention your name and where you're joining from. Your name. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people greeting here. Interesting. Yeah, just tell me your name and where you're joining in from. I can see quite a number of persons joining in right now. So tell me your name and where you're joining in from quickly. Yeah, someone said, guys, you're all beautiful. Yeah, interesting. Um, yeah, we again, like I mentioned, if you're joining in on this, for maybe you just stumbled in on the live, you're wondering, oh, what is being talked about, and what session is this? Caption this session Navigate, and the goal of this is to be able to address and bring you to a point where, a point of awareness on certain things that are needed for you to know, especially as you approach your 20s, and even, and if you're in your 20s or maybe a little bit above that, certain things that you need to know, when it comes to figuring things out and also making progress in that regard. All right. And so I want to, you know, it's very important that, there is a level of clarity, which I believe people need, level of clarity, a level of, you know, intentionality, a level of awareness coming to your your life. Okay, and that is what this session is going to be about. Okay, that's what this session is going to be about. So I would just like to, mention a number of persons. So tell me your name. I see Stella. I see Kwelumi, but I want the others. Just tell me your name, where you're joining in from, so that I can take maybe a minute or two to just, say hi. I want us to be, as fast as we can. All right, so we can dive into, we're able to touch the different things that we have. All right, and why do I consider this important? I consider this important because, let me say, I've seen people, at different points in time, having a lot of questions on their hearts to answer. They're having a lot of things that they seem to be battling with, and it's very important that you are aware of the kind of season that you are in. It is very important that you are aware of the kind of season you're in. You see, if you don't know or understand the kind of season you are in, one of the things you must know is the fact that there are predators, there are strangers, there are people who are ready to take advantage of that season if you're not aware of what it is and how to effectively utilize it. And as we get deeper, you're going to understand some of the things I'm saying. This is very important. Okay, so I want you to pay attention. Okay, so also go ahead and share the link of this meeting. Maybe share with a friend, share with a colleague. Let them join in this conversation. It's about to get very, very interesting. Okay, it's about to get very, very interesting. About to get very, very interesting. So because of time too, I'll just have to move as fast as I can. I have quite a number of things to talk about, and I just can't wait to get deep into it. Like I said, one of the things that you must come to recognize is you having an awareness of the time, that the period, the season that you are in. It's very important. Okay, you cannot afford to be naive in the journey of life. You cannot afford to be naive in your destiny, journey. You cannot afford to be naive, because you can say, the reason why this happened was because I was ignorant. No, this is one of the reasons why you have to pay attention. All right, so that you are able to get the needed knowledge. All right, so that you're able to get the needed knowledge that will be that will be pivotal for you to be able to take the needed steps. Okay, I remember, okay, let me just tell you. So I remember seeing a movie, many years ago, and in the movie there was, this lady and this guy, and the guy, and of course was trying to find his way around the lady and all of that. And they've been in and out for quite some time, and a time came, the lady, the guy decided to just push the boundaries further for the lady, and just asked the lady, why can't we have sex? Is there anything wrong with it? And to my utmost surprise, one of the things I noticed was the fact that the lady wasn't sure, all right, the lady wasn't sure of like the kind of response to give. The lady wasn't sure of the kind of response to give, right? And she was like, the guy was asking, do you think anything is wrong? And the lady was, well, I'm not sure, if anything is wrong. You see, the fact that the lady was naive still did not stop the fact that she was about to actually make a mistake of her life at that moment. Yeah, of course, which, yeah, she did. If I can remember, she did make that mistake. All right, because there were things that she wasn't clear on. She came into a season where there were things that she wasn't aware of. So for example, now you might find yourself in a state where, as a lady, because you don't know what you stand for, you don't even know your self-worth. For instance, a guy can take advantage of you. Yeah, a guy can just take advantage of you because you're naive. You don't know certain things, that you're supposed to be aware of. You don't even know the values that you stand for. All right, so some moment just comes, and unfortunately, if you're not careful, somebody can just take advantage of you. Okay, which is not supposed to be. Am I correct? Which is not supposed to be. So we're here this evening, evening on my end, to discuss certain things, right, that will be very essential for you to take note of, and for you to be able to pay attention to, even as you make progress in your 20s, you're approaching your 20s, or you're even leaving your 20s, or you're in your 20s. This is a very important conversation. All right. Okay, so let's get right into it. Um, all right, so let's get right into it. Um, so what are the things that happens, especially in your 20s? What are the things that you get to experience? The times of your 20s, many times is always the period where there are a lot of questions. You're coming into that season where you are inquisitive, you're curious, right? You have a lot of questions in your heart, different things that you want answers to, right? And um and of course, at that period, there are a lot of things, there are a lot of informations, there are a lot of voices around you, right? So the period or the times of your 20s is when you you come into a period where you are opened up to a whole lot of things, both positive and negative. It is a time where you are asking certain questions. You are asking questions about purpose. You are asking questions about, why this has to be this. Okay, I've been doing this, why should I continue in this direction? It is a time where, you have the role of the peer pressures come into play. You have the place of the media come into play. You have the place of, different informations all around you come into play. So now, this period, again, amidst everything I've mentioned, is always a very defining moment for people. is always a very defining moment for people. And what do I mean by that? I mean, the period of your 20s is meant to be a period where you are laying a whole lot of foundation. All right. So it means that the things that you do in that period will determine how the coming phase or the coming season of your life will look like, because this is the time where you're building a foundation. So it's just like when you're erecting a structure, or when you want to build a structure. All right, you have to um you have to you have the foundation, right? And so what you have in the foundation is what will now decide or determine what kind of structure you can put on the house. Okay, so this is very important, that the kind of foundation, your 20s is a period where you build that foundation upon which every other thing in the coming seasons and phase of your life is going to rest upon. All right, and so that is the reason why you cannot afford to joke with it. You cannot afford to what? You cannot afford to joke with it. All right, so let me begin to touch on certain things that I've prepared for you. Are you ready for this? So the times of your 20s is a period also where there are a lot of things being projected at you. All right. Maybe so I let you know. I don't know how much of a big deal you think you are, but you are really a big deal. You are really a big deal. And because you're a big deal, there are a lot of voices, there are a lot of different things in form of, let me say, influence that are going to be coming after you. All right, and that is the reason why this period is where you're going to have many invitations to do things. You're going to have many invitations, both through the media, peer, through friends and all of that. You're going to have that invitation to engage in things, whether they say to you verbally or it's communicated, in different, ways, right? But you're going to have that introduction. Try this out. Why don't you do this? You're matured. Why don't you explore this? So you're going to have different invitations. So I say that this period is a time where you have a lot of projections coming at you. All right, and how you decide to undo them will have a lot to do with what is going to become of the period or the season afterwards. All right, so I wanted to pay attention. The first thing I want you to know, all right, in this time and this period, especially in this your 20s, or you're approaching it, or you're already in your 20s, one of the very important things I want you to know is the fact that no matter what you see, no matter what you have been told, no matter what is projected at you, one thing I want you to know is that you are not behind. And you see, I know why I'm saying this. You are not behind. You are in the exact time and period where you are on time. You are in the exact time and period where you should be building a solid foundation. And the reason why I have to mention the fact that you are not behind is because, like I stated initially, you are in a time and a period where you are going to have a lot of projections coming at you. My God. Listen, because you're going to have a lot of projections, and now because we are in the 21st century. The 21st century is a period where you it gives you the opportunity to be able to see the world at a glance. What do I mean by that? Through social media now, you can see somebody that is far away in another continent. All right, you can see what is happening to somebody on the other on the other end of the pole. You can see something on social media. You can see somebody exploring something, and you're wondering, what's going on here? Wow, see what this guy is doing. Is my God, is this not my age mate that is already spending this? And you're wondering that if this person is already doing this, it means my own life is behind. Oh, if this person is already doing this, it means maybe something is wrong with me, and I'm not okay. See how this guy, there is the example of someone I can remember, there is an example of somebody that I can remember who decided to give into peer pressure. All right, give me a moment. I'm trying to just put this up. All right. So I was giving you an example of somebody there's someone who he just decided to give in to peer pressure at the time, and so there was this young friend of his that they grew up together. However, it just seemed as though that guy, things were going on for him very fast and all of that. And at the time, he just told the guy that what's the problem? Jamisi now, what's going on here? Help your boy now. And guess what? One of the things I've noticed is that God somehow God will not allow the life of some of you to spoil. Do you know why? Because have you noticed that for some persons, you are looking at somebody that has been committing, the person has been, okay, let me use this example, you would understand what I'm trying to say. Have you noticed that there are people that you have classmates who have decided to be wayward, and maybe they keep cheating in every exam. They keep cheating. Nobody caught them at any point in time. The time that you now decided that you want to cheat, that you want to join them, like when you now decided that, let me try this thing for the first time. Let me just try for the first time. Guess what? Is that first time that you decided to try? That was when they now caught you. Oh my God. There are people like that. I know I've seen some, interesting scenarios where his friends, they've been robbing places, and they keep getting away with it. The time he now decided he wanted to join one of the operations for the very first time, that I wanted to join the operation, guess what? That was the day they caught all of them. And some of you are like that God is like, I will not allow your life to spoil it. So the first time that you now wanted to follow peer pressure, that you wanted to do something that your friends are doing, right? That is wrong. That's when God decided they will catch you. So it means, what I'm just saying is that there is no need for you to try out some things that you know obviously they are wrong. But you're going to have those temptations, you're going to have those invitations, I'm telling you. And this is the phase where, in fact, it's going to be very high. You're going to have different temptations, you're going to have different projections from people. There are going to be a lot of things that you will be sold. All right, when I say sold, I mean that will be brought to you for you to buy into it. And so the first thing I mentioned is that you must know that you are not behind. So don't even allow, you must catch yourself and tell yourself that I am not going to give in to, peer pressure, especially wrong peer pressure. Okay, I am not going to give in to the wrong peer pressure. You have to decide that. Are you listening to what I'm saying? This is very important. So it is very, very essential that you realize this, that I am not behind. This is the period where I'm learning. This is the period where I am growing. This is the period where I am equipping myself. So no matter what I am seeing, happen maybe on social media or happening with a friend or something, that is not going to be my concern. I am going to be happy for everybody, but I am going to begin to learn and grow. I am going to begin to put in the work that I need to put in now. Are you listening to what I'm saying? This is very important. I'm going to decide that I will put in the work. And you see, one of the dangers of social media, for instance, is that it gives you a false, many times it has the ability to give you a false narrative. All right. The fact that you see someone put together and doing well, looking so good, packaged well on the media space, doesn't mean, somehow you start judging yourself based on the packaging of somebody else. Don't you know that anybody that wants to have you seen somebody post their bad pictures before? People don't post their bad pictures. When you decide to snap, for instance, and somebody decides to take a lot of pictures, maybe they took 20, right? And you decided to pick the best. What will you look out for? Maybe the best 3 or the best 5 of the pictures. Now, when you want to post, will you post the bad picture? It's not the bad picture that you post. You look for the best where it looks as though you are well, composed. You're looking so good. That is the one you will post. Now, you must know that people only post online or post on the media space the best of them. They never show you what is happening behind the scene. So when you decide to begin to judge your life based on the packaged, version of somebody, right? Based on the packaged version of somebody that you see on social media, God, see my own life. God, what's going on? God, I wish my life can be like this guy. No, that is not how to live. You cannot afford to do that to yourself. All right. Okay, so number one, what did I say? Number one is I said you are not behind. You are actually right on time. The time of training, the time of building is where you are currently. So never find yourself comparing yourself or thinking, what's going on? Many things have been happening. People have gone ahead of me. No, you are not behind. And I want you to type that in the comment section. Type in the comment section, I am not behind. So, I need you to type it and say it to yourself, because I want you to, relieve yourself of pressures that you don't need. The fact that some persons give themselves to this kind of pressure is what makes them to join the wrong group. Is what makes them to join the wrong gang. You go and you are like, because you are like, you want to be, you want to bam, you want to roll with the big boys. Because of that, you decided to go and enter what you're not supposed to enter. You allowed them to to sell a wrong narrative to you. Now, they now told you that, oh, there is one group that, we used to meet, that's where things take place, we want you to join us. The group, it doesn't have a clear vision. It's not something that, but it's not something that is open to everybody. We only invite you to the group. Don't go and enter the wrong hand. Is that okay? I mean, don't go and enter the wrong ends. Are you following this now? The second thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you are allowed not to know everything currently, but you are not allowed to remain the same way. And I'm going to clarify that. You see, still in the place of helping you relieve yourself of some pressures is what I'm still talking about. You must know that you are allowed not to know everything yet or currently, but you are not allowed to remain that same way. And what do I mean by that? This is captioned navigate. And one of the things you find yourself in this, period is the fact that you think you are supposed to be perfect. You think you're supposed to already know it all. You think you need to already have everything figured out. Like, I'm seeing people doing stuffs I cannot afford. Maybe you've even told yourself that by the age of 20, I'm going to graduate. But maybe you schooled in Nigeria, and when you were saying at the age of 20 I was going to graduate, strike unfortunately was giving you side eye. You did not know. Strike was giving you side eye. All right, and they added strike added to it, and a whole lot of other things. And you made up your mind. I planned that I'm going to study medicine. But the school that you went to, they looked at you with side eyes. Medicine was staring in the face, but at another side, botany or fishery was also staring, or biochemistry was also staring you in the face. When you have decided it is medicine I want to do, nothing can change it. And when you didn't now get that, you're now like, what's the meaning of this? Maybe all this thing, or maybe school is a scam. You now start, you're not like, no, this course that you guys even give me, I'm not doing. And you enter the 100 level, you did not even pay attention in class because you are angry that they didn't give you medicine and surgery. And because of that, you did not pay attention in class, you decided you are not going to, because you are angry with yourself, you are angry with the school, you are angry with the course of study. And you are like, God, how will I go from here? What's the meaning of this? Or maybe you are even in a position where you are like, it looks as though there are many things I don't know. I feel like at this point in time, I would have had, my life figured out. I would have been doing things. How come I'm still here? It looks as though I'm very slow. My life is very slow. One thing I want to tell you is the fact that you don't need to have everything figured out to make progress. In fact, you will not need to have, you will not have everything figured out. Just let me give you that. So stop pressuring yourself that the reason why you are not going to make the motions you're supposed to make is because I don't have everything figured out 100%. Nobody does. Is that okay? So relieve yourself of that pressure that until I have everything figured out. Let me show you how you make progress. Okay. One of the very important ways that you make progress is this: that when you want to make progress, you you I'm going to give you an analogy. The analogy of how a vehicle moves, for instance, or have you used a torchlight before? All right, maybe in the dark and you're going somewhere. So what happens when you use a torch and you're going somewhere in the dark? Maybe it's quite some distance. Maybe you want to go and buy something in your street, your estate street, and all of that. And everywhere is just dark, and you're with a torch. Now, when you put on the torch and you start using it, from your point of takeoff to where you are going, it will take maybe 15 minutes or 10 minutes, let's say. Now, from where you are standing, do you see the end, the destination already from where you are standing? Many times you would have to walk, right, with the torch on, and guess what? Many times the torch is not going to just illuminate everywhere. The torchlight that you're holding will most likely just illuminate a few distance, all right? And as you proceed, as you move forward, then you see, the torchlight beams on more places, right? Then you move forward again, then the torchlight beams on, a little more place, some odd, some distance, right? Again, now this is how you also make the needed progress that you need to make. That now imagine that somebody is holding the torch and is saying, because this torchlight, the light is currently not getting to where I am going, the destination, I am not going to move. Is the person ever going to make any progress? Of course not. You know the answer. The person will never make any progress. Why? Because the torchlight that you are holding is not designed to show, to illuminate everything from the starting point to the ending point at the same time. Guess what? The torchlight would illuminate some distance. Then what happens? As you move forward, you would see the torch covering a little distance ahead of you again. Then as you move forward again, the torchlight will cover a little distance. See, let me tell you something. The way you make progress with life has to be a walk of faith. Because you will not see everything from the beginning. You would only see more as you move forward. But many times, many people don't want to take any step. They don't even want to take the first step because they are not seeing what will happen on step, in stage 5 or step 6. So they are like, I am not going to do anything. It is until I see what is going to happen at the end, then the journey can now start. You will never start that journey that way. Are you getting what I'm saying? This is very important. I'm telling you that the way you make progress is to know that you are not going to have everything figured out at the beginning. It is going to get better as you take the first step. Then when you take the first step, you're able to see the next step. Then you take that next step. You don't wait for everything to completely align and you're able to see everything before you make motions. You are not going to grow that way. You are not going to make progress that way. Are you getting what I'm saying? Is someone following what I'm saying? This is very important. So what does this do to you? What does this help you do? One of the things that this help you do is that it helps you to know that, okay, I don't have everything figured out right now, but what do I need to do to move from point A to point B? I may not know how B, C, D, E, F, G, H to Z will look like, but what does it take for me to move from point A to point B? That is how you grow. That is how you make progress. All right. And this is the reason why you must give yourself to learning. You must give yourself to learning. You must give yourself to growth. For some of you right now, you are in a stage where you're having a lot of questions, but you don't you are not somebody that you are inquisitive, you have a lot of questions on your heart, but you are not ready to also learn. You are not ready to give yourself to learning, right? Which is not supposed to be. You are going to find more answers to the questions on your heart when you give yourself to learning. Yeah, it's good for you to be inquisitive and you have, a lot of questions on your heart, but the way you grow is that you now give yourself to knowledge. You now give yourself to the right knowledge. This is how you grow. Giving yourself to the right knowledge. Again and again. Giving yourself to the right knowledge. For example, if I ask you now that, what book are you reading currently? And I don't mean school books, so what book are you reading currently? And you can tell me that this book that I'm reading is towards my personal growth and my development. What book? For some of you, this is March 2026. You haven't even read one book that will be geared towards your growth and your development. You've not read one book. You've not read one book. Or you decided to start one, but you are still on chapter 1. You see yourself? You decided to start one. You are still on chapter 1. Look at that. I'm still on chapter 1. Some of you, you've not read anyone. You see? You've not read any book that is towards your growth and your development. You've not read one book this year. You see, you are not going to help your growth when you are not ready to learn or study. For some of you, you've never used your money to buy a book to read before. You're like, I don't have money. That's why I cannot read. Really? Why can't you sacrifice part of the money of your meal and go and buy a book? My God, many of the things that are found of great value right now were the things, I decided to let go, of my convenience to be able to, purchase, to buy maybe the books, there was one that happened at the time, I think, if I'm correct, years ago right now, okay, years ago, I was going to buy a book, and the book at that time, based on that time, that book was expensive because the writer of the book decided, and that time that would be the most, as a that year, that would be the most expensive book that I have bought, right? And guess what? I decided I was going to go and buy that book that day. So something happened, because the book is very bulky. The book has like over 600 pages, right? So it's a big book, right? And at the stage where I went to buy it, when I got to the bookshop, the bookseller looked at me and said, come, because of course, many years ago, I was very young, looking very little and all of that. And because of the money, the amount of money the book cost, just imagine. The bookseller looked at me. Guess what? The bookseller, at that time, a married man, he looked at me and said, come, who is the owner of this book that you're buying? I said, I'm the owner. Like, he was so shocked, you could see it in his face. He says, you are buying this book? Just imagine somebody that is to sell the book, all right, is wondering, you're buying this book, it costs this much, expensive at that time, but you decided to buy. Guess what happened? The seller of the book, he said, because I bought that book that day, that I challenged him, and he decided to buy that book for himself that day to take home to go and read. Listen, it just shows me something. Just imagine it means that the person was selling the book but never read the book. So it means, oh my God, this is even another direction. Don't let me go that lane. But I'm saying that the bookseller was challenged to buy the book for himself to take home because he was challenged that I bought the book. He was so surprised and inspired, right? Some of you, the money that you're supposed to use to buy a book, you are eating shawarma. You are eating shawarma. Now, you are not saying, how come I did not know this? How come I did not know that? You did not invest in any knowledge now. You're not investing in any knowledge. One time I read, and I think even this one is like a proverb. Is it like an adage, or a saying, which is not good. That when you want to hide something from an African man or a black man or something like that, put it in a book. Ha! The day I heard that, I was like, are you kidding me right now? So are you saying that people that don't, like, if you don't want a black man to know something, write it in a book? It means you're saying that a typical black man does not read. What? I consider that saying to be an insult on blacks. That if you want to hide something from a black man, write it in a book. Do you know why? They will not read it. So what have you read this year, from beginning of this year now? What have you read, or what are you even reading? Yeah, what have you read, or what are you even reading? It's very important. You say you want to grow, right? All right. So what did I say number one is? The first thing I discussed was that you're not behind, right? You're actually right on time. That's number one. Number two is that you are allowed to not know everything or many things currently, but you are not allowed to remain that way. Okay? It's fine. You don't need to have everything figured out. You're going to take it one step at a time, but you are not allowed to remain in that state where you don't have everything figured out, but you are not now doing anything about it. No, you are not allowed to remain that way. It's fine that you don't have everything figured out. Nobody does, but you must be making intentional progress. All right, you must be making that intentional move to learn and to grow. I get what I'm saying. Now let's move on. Number 3, this is very important. Are you following this now? Number 3, this is very important. Oh my God, are you following this? The period of your 20s is the time that many people fall for identity crisis. Many experience identity crisis this period. And I'll tell you what that is. Many people fall for identity crisis. Many people, and this is very important because you cannot afford to ignore it. You cannot afford to ignore this. This is the stage where you need to start answering the question of who am I? Who am I? What are my values? Who am I in the sense that the reason why you need to start exploring intentionally on these areas is because, for instance, if you don't know who you are, the world around you would give you an identity that is not yours. The world will call you what you are not. The world will call you what you are not, and you would absorb it. You would take on a version or an identity that is not who you are. And in answering the question of who you are, for instance, one of the things is that you must be ready. You must be ready to draw your realities from God. Now, let me tell you why I have to say that. The reason is because, you see, the best person to give you the best framework, the best person to give you a framework of how to function is the one who created you, or the one who manufactured you, the one who created you. Are you following me now? So it means that if you want to effectively live to your full potential, or you want to function effectively as a person, I wish there is any item I can use around me right now. I wanted to use maybe, so for example, there's a wristwatch, right? So let's say I've never seen this wristwatch before in my life. Let's say I've never seen it, I've never encountered it, so I don't even know it's called wristwatch. Now, let's say I just found out, I just saw it, somewhere. And I'm like, what is this? What's this item? Now, the best way for me to know how this item or this tool functions is for me to speak to the one who made the item. And that is the reason why when you buy an item, there is always a manual inside it. What is the essence of the manual? The manual is saying that, oh, thank you for purchasing this product. This manual inside, even though many of us, they use manual, you don't use manual. Many of us, when you buy an item like this, you just remove the item. Then you throw the carton away with the manual. You can't remember, you don't even know that it has a manual. You just throw it away. And you start to figure out how to now use the item. Now you're wondering why it spoils quickly. You see yourself? Now, the manual is there from the manufacturer saying that you bought this product. And for some of the products, they would even tell you, for maximum, performance or something of this product, of this tool, you don't use it, within a temperature that is more than this, for instance. Don't use it, take away from the reach of children. Now, they give you different specifications. They tell you different things. In other words, the manufacturer is saying, I know what I placed in this item. I know what I placed in this tool. For you to be able to have maximum use of it, this is how you should use it. This is how you should operate it. Because this is how it will give you the best function. I get what I'm saying. This is also how you function as a believer and how you begin to draw your identity. That you must realize that the person who did not create you cannot give you an identity. The one who did not form you cannot tell you how to function. This is the reason why I'm telling you that, you see, you must not allow peer pressure. You must not allow the media, social media. You must not allow, different projections or invitations around you to decide or give you an identity. The only person that is authorized to give you an identity is the one who created you. Are you listening to this? So I am saying that literally your best performance, all right, your best way of performance is going to be tied to the one who created you. And so, see, this is the reason why there is no way you can talk about, your maximum performance and leave out the aspect of God from it. Are you getting what I'm saying? This is very important. You can't leave out what God is. You can't leave out God when you want to talk about the best way for you to perform, because if he's the manufacturer, then he has the right to tell you the best way for you to function. So when God is saying that this is how I created you to function, you can do this, you can do that, but the peer pressures around you or the people around you are saying otherwise. They are saying, oh, you are not enough. But God is saying, I created you for this. You can actually do this. But people are coming from where? You that you are from this background. You that you are from that background. You that, you don't even have a lot of privileges. How do you want to get this done? You see? Where the person that you decide to draw your identity from is the one that would decide the frame of how your life will function. So if you believe lies, it means your life also will be lived from that lens. You would live a life of not being enough. You will live a life of always being in anxiety, of never being sufficient, of not being content, because you allowed someone else that did not create you to give you an identity of who you are not. I get what I'm saying? This is very important. So let's move on quickly because of time. All right. So, now a very quick story. There was a story of a beggar who had a dog. A beggar had a dog, and he was always at a particular spot begging for money. His dog is always with him. Then it happened that a time came, there was an artist, like somebody who draws. He was just passing by, and the person got to where this beggar was and this dog was, and decided to sit down, just opposite them, and started drawing. Now he told the beggar that he was going to draw the beggar, right? But the beggar was like, okay, no problem. Now, of course, you could picture how a beggar would look like. He was looking very tattered, dirty, disgusting, and all of that. Now the artist said, I'm going to draw you. Now, by the time the man was done drawing him, guess what? He drew a man that is so fine, handsome, dressed in suits, and all of that, so well looking, well shaped, and all of that. Then he showed the image to the beggar. Guess what the beggar said? The beggar said, this is not me now. The beggar said, no, this is not me. No, this is not me now. How will this be me? Guess what the artist said? Now, the artist told the beggar that I am not drawing who you can see outside. I am drawing what I can see within you. The artist said, the you that I see is the you that I have drawn. And it got the beggar thinking. And the beggar was like, wow, really? Like, it just changed the perspective for the beggar. Because as far as the beggar is concerned, the way he was started, looking homeless and hopeless, was the best he could think about himself. But the beggar, the artist was like, this is not who you are. This is not who you are. All right. I'm going to draw and show you something that speaks to the core of your being, of how you actually do look like. That who you are is more than what you can see outwardly like a beggar. Who you are, what I'm drawing, this man who is handsome, good looking, this is what I see. And so, the beggar was like, wow, this is just so, it's just so beautiful, right? That, wow, so this is me, this is what I look like, right? And so the beggar was so grateful for that, right? He was so happy and so grateful for that. So my question is, who is giving you your identity? Who is interpreting to you exactly how you look like? So remember, we're talking about identity crisis. So I've said that you must know who you are. You must know what your values are. What are the things that I will do? What are the things that I will not do? Where are the places I will go? Where are the places I will not go? What are my values? What are the things that I hold in high esteem that are deal breakers for me? All right, because when you know your values, the things that you hold as values, it will decide who can be your friend. It will decide who can work with you. It will decide who you can roll with and who you cannot roll with. I'm telling you. So when you have values, you will not just be looking for friends because you are lonely. You would have a selection in friendship because you have values, and you would select friendship based on the values you have. Are you getting what I'm saying? This is very important, that you would then select friends based on the values that you have. But if you don't have values, it means anything goes for you. Now you are wondering why you are attracting all kind of people that you are not supposed to attract to yourself. Why? Because you don't have a template for selection. You don't have a template. What decides where you go? Somebody says, oh, are you free now? Can we just quickly, let's just chill out. Where are we going to? All right. You say, we're just going to, a friend's place to just go and chat. You see? And you just said, okay, let's go. Now, the reason why you just say let's go is because you don't have anything that you are doing with your time that you planned. Now, assuming you already have values of the fact that one of my values is excellence, for instance, and if one of my values is excellence, maybe as a student, at that point in time, I was supposed to be reading. Now, you are not reading. You are free. You are not doing anything. So anybody can pull you in their direction because you have no values. But that's not going to be you. And if that is you, you're changing this evening. You're going to get better and you're going to do better. All right. Okay, I think I'm going to round off shortly. Then we're going to continue tomorrow, right? I'm going to round off shortly and we're going to continue tomorrow. Are you getting something? Are you getting something from this? All right. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I see your comment. You're getting something from this, right? So another thing I want to say when it comes to values, right? We're still on values. Another thing I want to say when it comes to values is this. Very important. One of the things when it comes to, the point of values is that you must also know the things that you want to give yourself to, or else you are going to find yourself, just being subject to trends, being subject to people's opinion of you. You are just going to give in to peer pressure, trends, and all of that, because there are no values that, seem to be giving you a direction, that seem to be directing the course of your life. Are you getting what I'm saying? This is very important. Your values, the values that you have, will be your guiding, your compass for the way you are living. You see, there is a way you can never find yourself in prison because you have values. All things being equal. Now, there's a reason why I said all things being equal, because, oh my God. But all things being equal, there is a way you should never find yourself. All right, there is a way you should never find yourself in the prison based on your values. Now, there is a way you plan your day based on your values, the right values, that there is no way you can land in prison. Why? Because you will not find yourself in the wrong place where the people there, where they want to pack people to prison. You will not find yourself in that kind of a place. Values. Are you getting it now? Values. All right, very quickly. Number four, very important, is that stop copying people blindly. Stop copying people blindly. Now, this is very important. Pay attention. Stop copying people blindly. Some of you, in a bid to want to just, try many things, just go ahead and you copy people blindly, and you do things that are not exactly in alignment with you. Let me give you an example. How many of you, maybe you're even still in school right now, or when you were in school, you found yourself in a position where you are not a night person, but you went to night class because your friend went to night class? And you went to the night class. By the time you got to night class to do night reading, you slept all through. You slept all through because you were not designed to be a night person, for goodness sake. So, so you slept. You slept, brother. Now, it's just because now you did not study how your body works. You did not study what works for you. You did not, but because you're just like, because my friend is going for night reading, me too. No, me too, I'm going for night reading. Maybe you cannot come and oppress me. You don't need to copy people blindly on things that doesn't work for you. I get what I'm saying. Don't copy people blindly on things that doesn't work for you. This is very important. This is very important. Don't copy people blindly. You are not a night person. Now you force yourself to go to night class. Now you spent the whole night sleeping and you did not sleep comfortably. Just imagine. So what am I trying to say with this? Don't just copy people blindly. Do the things that works for you. Take time to study your pattern of things that work for you. For some of you, the system of reading that works for somebody does not work for you. For some of you, you are copying somebody that can read just once or just attend lecture once, and the person is good to go for the exam. You know that you need to maybe read the material twice and do a revision maybe twice also for you to be able to effectively assimilate. But you are like, no, because this is my friend read once. You two decided to read once. Now, look at this. And this one is going to be a problem if you're not very careful. That because you see somebody rush to tech, you too, you rush to tech. Oh, tomorrow you saw this person doing design. They told you, it's design that is doing it now, designing. You rush to designing. Oh, what is working now? Is crypto. You run to crypto. The following week, I'm seeing somebody saying he's making a lot of money from from creating some of these items. You run to it. So in a very short time, you have found yourself running helter skelter. So we don't even know you with anything in particular. Now, don't get me wrong. This stage is open for you to try your hands on different things. Okay. Till you find yourself coming to a stage where, this works for me, I'm able to make headway with this. It's fine. All right. Again, remember, I told you, you don't need to have everything figured out to make progress or to make motions, right? So this stage is also available for you to try things out or try different things out. But the point I'm trying to emphasize is that don't find yourself in a situation where you're just copying people blindly. You are doing things not because you have a direction for it or a plan for it. You are just doing it because you see somebody else doing it. Are you getting what I'm saying? So don't just copy people blindly. Because now, if you just go helter skelter, some people that already know you for this today, and maybe they even want to patronize you, for instance, all right? By the time they get there, you are not doing it again. They knew you to be selling stuffs that has to do with, maybe, some materials. By the time they came next week to purchase some of those materials, you are not doing it again. Now you're already doing design. Oh, okay, you are doing design now. They come in 2 weeks' time. Okay, let's give you design to do. Oh, I'm not doing design again. Unfortunately, now I trade crypto. Thank God. You see, they're just moving. Eh? Okay, that's what I'm saying. So don't copy people blindly. You should have, a reason why you're doing something, and you're trying out something that works for you. Are you getting what I'm saying? This is very important, all right? All right. Okay, let me quickly touch on this point. Maybe I'll continue from this point tomorrow, but let me close out with this point because of time. I think I just have some minutes left. All right. So the last point I want to discuss, number 5, is that one real enemy you would have is distractions, not lack of opportunities. I'm going to say that again. In this particular state that you find yourself in, one of the major enemies that you're going to have is distractions, not lack of opportunities, because we find ourselves currently in an era, in a time in history right now where what will stop people is not lack of information, because there will be a whole lot of it, but what will now stop people is distraction. Because now, listen, there is information overload, there is content overload, that there are so many things staring you in the face. They stare you in the face till you leave the main point and start running after so many other things that you're not supposed to run after. I'm saying that one great enemy that you're going to have in this stage is the enemy of distraction, not lack of opportunities. Are we together now? There's so much content. There is so much information. There are so much voices. And so you need to be careful to filter through. Some persons, you just have information overload that you now become paralyzed, that you don't even know what to do with everything that you now have. That's the kind of period to find ourselves right now. Information overload. So you must know how to filter that. Hey, this is what I want to learn. This is the things I want to do. And I'm going to learn in this direction, pay attention in this direction. Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pay attention to it. All right, are we getting it now? Okay, let me begin to close out right now. I want to give you an assignment. I'm going to give you a task to do, right? But before I do that, let me start concluding by saying that one of the assets that you have, all right, that you have as a person. Now, I know if I say asset, you might be thinking of money, but you have so many assets, right, that you're not even thinking of. One of the assets that you have is the asset of attention, or in fact, the currency called attention. And that is the reason why when somebody wants to talk, the person says, pay attention to me. In other words, your attention is actually a currency. You are paying a part of it to listen to what somebody is saying, whether the person is saying rubbish or the person is saying the right thing. So you must know what to give your attention to. There is a way you just don't want to stay on social media and just be done scrolling. You just scrolling up, you scroll till 30 minutes, you're scrolling, 1 hour, you're scrolling, you are just here and there. Do you know what you're doing? You are selling your attention. Somebody else is making money from your attention. When you are supposed to be intentional in what you commit that attention to. You see yourself now. So you must decide, where will my attention go to? What am I as I wake up tomorrow morning? What am I going to give attention to first? Is the first thing I'm going to do when I wake up, is the first thing I'm going to do to pick my phone and just go online and I spend my day, start my day in a very bad or rough manner, all right, not directed and all of that, or I'm going to be intentional in the things that I'm going to give my attention to, because attention is currency. All right, so I'm going to stop here for tonight. I want to give you an assignment, all right, and you know, you're going to submit it on the group. You're going to do it, submit it on the group, and I'm going to go through it, and we have second session tomorrow by 7 p.m. So what are the questions? Number one, write 5 things that you value. Write 5 things that you value. So some of these questions will get you to think, all right? It's going to get you to think. Remember, it's called navigate for a reason. So some of these questions will get you to think, all right, intentionally. What are 5? Write out 5 things that you value. For some of you, the things that you value it can be, faithfulness, sincerity, hard work. Write out 5 major values, or 5 major things that you value. Number 2, define the kind of person you want to become. Number 2, define the kind of person that you want to become. Number 3, identify 3 distractions in your life right now. Now, I want you to be sincere with yourself when you do that, when you take this assignment. Identify 3 distractions in your life right now. And lastly, number 4, choose one area you want to focus on for the next 14 days. Choose one area you want to focus on. You want to give your attention to intentionally, consistently for the next 14 days. Should I run through it again? Number 1 is write 5 major things that you value. Number 2, define the kind of person you want to become. Number 3, identify 3 major distractions in your life. And number 4, choose one area to focus on for the next 14 days. And we're going to pick it up from that tomorrow. I believe you've gotten a lot of value from this, and it's been an insightful and a very, very interesting first day of the session. So we're going to meet again tomorrow by 7 p.m. All right, do well to set your alarm. Don't come late. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. God bless you. Cheers.